Hi, my amazing violins. I'm going to switch your music here. Alrighty, so what we are doing today is we're going to review notes on the G string as well as talking about bow distribution, which we did talk about a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's been a long time, so we're going to review that. All right, so before we start, I'm going to have you play your G major scale. Okay, so we're going to start on the G string for violins. It is the string that is farthest away from your bow hand. Okay, so not this one. That's your E string, G string. So we just have to lift up our wrist. Don't lift up your shoulder, just your elbow. Okay, so shoulder and elbow work together. All right, so let's do it in the a G major scale in the rhythm of my favorite fruit, which is an apple. All right, friends, so here we go, apple. So 2 bows per note of the scale. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, great job, friends, with your G major scale. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the G string, 4th finger, because it is the same note as your open D. Now, the reason why we use our 4th finger is just so that we don't have to switch strings. You guys are lucky. You're so lucky compared to the cellos and the basses. Whew, we don't get to do that. All right, so 4th finger on the G string. Here we go. So instruments up. I'm going to slow this down ever so slightly. Okay. Oops. And I moved it. My bad. Okay. So here we go. Instruments up. We're starting on 4th finger on the G string. 2, ready, 4th finger, go. Nice job, friends. All right, we're going to move on to number 95. We're going to skip a whole bunch of numbers here. All righty. Here we go. All right, so we're doing this because it reviews not only D major scale, but also you really don't have to think about it because you can do a D major scale in your sleep now. But there are these little things here that like LH, that means lower half of your bow. So I'm just going to show you where that is real quick. It is basically anything from the halfway point all the way to the frog. That is your lower half. Your upper half is exactly the opposite, halfway from your bow all the way to the tip. Okay, so we are going to just air bow that. And you're going to do short bows for your quarter notes and whole bows or longer bows for your half notes. So I'm going to back up a little bit just so that you can see me. Okay, all right, let's just do the first 2 measures so that you can see how that works. Okay, so the first 6 notes. Here we go. Ready, and lower half, lower half, lower half, lower half, whole bow, whole bow. So see how I moved my arm a lot and the speed actually increased so that I could stay right in time with myself. So really, really important for you. I'm going to slow this down so that you can focus on your bow. All right, so here we go, friends. We're going to start 3rd finger on the A string. Here we go. High D's. Instruments up. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, lower half, go. Nice job, my friends. All right. If you need to repeat that, just go right back. All right. So now we're moving on to Swogan. And this is nice because it's only 3 notes. All right. It is also andante, which means it's slow. So it's about the same tempo of what we've been doing before. So lower half, whole bow, upper half, whole bow. So when you're at the upper half, make sure that you are closer to the tip than when you are at the frog. All right. So here we go, my friends. Starting on open D, instruments up. We're going to do this twice. 2, ready, open D, go. Great. Nice job, my friends. Let's go on to the next one. All right, this is June Lovely June, and it is a round. So you have the opportunity to play this as a round if you want to. You'd have to get your OE book out and turn it to page 33, and it's number 97 on page 33. If you're doing it in a round with me, I am going to start at this first melody. Okay, right where the number 1 is. When I get to the number 2, that is where you're going to start at the very beginning. Okay, so just like our scale, our D major scale in a round that we did for our winter concert, it's the same kind of thing. You always start at the beginning, just in a different spot. Or just at a different time. Excuse me, not at a different spot. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to slow this down. All right, focus on your whole bow and half bow, whole bow and upper halves and lower half bows for your quarter notes. So that is the most important thing. If you mess up your notes, that is okay. All right, so here we go, my friends. Focusing on your bow. We start on open D. Here we go. Instruments up. 1, 2, ready, open D, go. Great job, friends. All righty. Moving on to one of the most beautiful melodies and also super kind of sad. All right. So low key kind of sad. All right. So this is a theme from the New World Symphony. It was written by Antonin Dvorak, and he is a Czech Republic composer. And he actually wrote this when he came to the United States, and he was extremely homesick for his hometown. And he was looking at all of the lush landscape. I think he was on a mountain. I can't remember. For some reason, I think he's on a mountain. I can't remember. And wrote this melody for the New World Symphony, one of the most iconic melodies you've ever heard. Okay, so anyway, they use this a lot in commercials and lots of movies, things like that. Really beautiful. All right, so we are going to start on F sharp. You do have an A here as your highest note. So if you are still working on your 4th finger, continue doing that. If you're still unsure about your 4th finger, you can use open A, but I do want you to try using your 4th finger. All right, friends. So here we go. Instruments up. We start on F sharp, 2nd finger on the D string. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, F sharp, go. Great. Nice job, my friends. Going on to the next one. And this is called the Trolley Song. It actually comes from a musical. And I'm blanking on the name of the musical, but I know that Judy Garland is in it. And she played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Can't remember. Oh, well. But it's a really cute musical. I like this one. Oh, I think it's from Carousel. Anyway, I'll have to look it up and then I'll let you know if I was right or not. Okay, so we are going to slow this down so you can focus on your do's and do days. Be careful. So for your eighth notes, we're going to go a little bit faster. Okay, shorter bows. Okay, the shorter the length of the note, the shorter the bow. The longer the length, so like half note, full bow. Okay, that kind of thing. All right, so we do go up to the A string. Your highest note is a D, third finger on your A string right here. So that's a D, and then B, so 3, 1, and then the rest of it is on the D string. Okay, so here we go. Starting right from the beginning, it is slow, instruments up. Here we go. Well, I made it slower. It's not that slow. Here we go. Ready, F sharp, go. Nice job, my friends. If you want to go faster, you can totally go faster because it is allegro, which means faster. All right. Last one, my friends, Kwanzaa. All right. So we need to be focusing on how much bow we're using for our quarter notes and for our half notes. Also, watch out for your first and second ending. The way that a first and second ending works is that when we get to this part right here where that repeat sign, the beginning repeat sign is, this tells us that this is the beginning of the section. This end repeat sign tells us that that is the end of the repeated section. So we play through here, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, G. Let's just pretend this is the first time. F sharp, E, D, bow lift. We go through the first ending right here, okay? Then you repeat back to the beginning repeat right here. Second time, so notice that says 2. We play through again, play, 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 bow lift. Then we skip over the first ending because after you use it once, it is gone forever. We go on to number 2 and jump right here to the E, A, and D. Okay, so that's E on the D string because look at where it's located on the staff. Okay, all right, my friends. So here we go. We're going to slow this down. We are not going to play it at a quarter note equals 121. You can definitely do that later by yourselves if you want to. That is okay. All right, so here we go, friends. We are taking the repeats. All righty, here we go. Instruments up. Ready, open, D, go. Nice job, my friends. Really, really good. If you would like to speed that up, you totally can. Alrighty, I hope you were able to catch this low B over here. So this is a second finger on the G string. So we did review some notes on the G string before, but we didn't really do a lot of it. So in case you missed that, go back and try it again. Not a big deal. Second finger on the G string for that low B. All right, friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for practicing with me, and I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully I'll see you in school as well. Bye.